Hello and welcome back to Spiderworking.com's video blog, and this week we're going to be looking at some of those recent changes to our Facebook newsfeed. We're going to be looking at the top stories and hopefully helping you understand how they work better. And I'm also going to be looking at one of the common mistakes that both me and my friends are making on Facebook, and that's who we're sharing our content with. So we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail. But first let's have a look at that newsfeed. The first big change users noticed was the way that top news was displayed. Remember on the top right hand side you used to have two filters, top news and latest updates? Well, now top news is forced upon us. It appears at the top of our page as soon as we log in. Because I'm logged into Facebook a lot, I didn't have any top stories when I logged in to shoot this video. So I asked a friend if it was alright to borrow their profile. And this is it. Now you can see here an update from me that's appeared in her top stories, and you can see it's got a blue slash across the side. Now this denotes it's a top story. Now if this isn't the sort of story that you want to see at the top of your newsfeed in future, you can click on this arrow on the right hand side and click unmark as the top story. If you're not interested in your top stories at all, you can scroll straight past them by clicking this on the right hand side. So now that we've gone through our top news and chosen whether that sort of story should appear in our top news again, what if there's a story in our newsfeed that we'd like to see more of? So maybe there's a user you're particularly fond of and you don't want to miss their updates, or maybe it's a type of story that interests you. Well, let's have a look at this one. You see, if I hover my mouse over the top, the corner goes blue and you get a drop down menu here. So I can click there and it opens up this new box, and from here I choose mark as top story. Now that means that more stories either from Edwina Grace, who's a local DJ, or more stories maybe from the Web Orange website will appear in my top feed in future. Now if we click that button again, you'll also notice that there's a few other options. I can unmark it as a top story, I can hide the story, I can report the story as spam, so business page owners, you want to be careful there. I can also control the amount of information that I see from Edwina herself. I can see all updates, most updates, only important updates, or I can completely unsubscribe from her updates. You can also do this for business pages. So I can mark as a top story, I can hide the story, I can report the stories as spam, or I can hide all by online social media. Now this is something to bear in mind as page owners. You want to make sure that your followers aren't clicking that button. Okay, let's move on to the second thing that I mentioned, and this is how we're sharing information on Facebook. Now you'll notice that the status update bar has been condensed. We can still update our status by clicking that box Now there's a few things to remember here. If I'm doing it from my main newsfeed, so you'll see newsfeed is on the side, Facebook saves how I posted before. So the last post I made was public, so it automatically thinks that I want this next post to be public. And public means it's available for the whole internet to see. Now generally we won't want to do this. With the new subscribers, and there is some benefit to making public posts, but most of the time we'll probably only want to share it with friends or maybe a specific list of friends. So each time you post an update or a link, it's very important you go here and you make sure it's on the correct privacy setting for you. So I could go for friends, I can go for custom, I could go for one of my lists. So there I've chosen my list, share everything friends. Now if you've posted something and you suddenly realise you've posted it to the wrong set of people, you can change this. If you hover your mouse over the top, you'll see a cog. That means that it's a specific group of people that I've shared it with. If it's a globe, that means it's a public update, and if it's a little person in shadow, that means it's your friends. So instead of sharing that with share everything friends, I'll click just to share it with friends. And you can do this with each one of your updates, so don't panic if you posted something publicly. You can leave it there and you can change its privacy setting. Now, one of the great things I like about the new layout is that it's quite easy to stay in touch with your lists. Before you had to go through a whole drop down menu. Now I can simply click Share Everything Friends on the left hand side, and automatically it only shows me the posts from the people in that list. And if I click Update Status here, by default, because I'm looking at the Share Everything Friends list, it'll only send this update to Share Everything Friends. Well, I hope that's helped you understand it a little bit better. We'll be back again next week, but in the meantime, don't forget to check our Facebook page out, link coming up here. Give us a like and I'll share with you some useful tips, hints and information for small businesses using social media. Until then, bye!